Hi, my name is Ollie Bliss and this is my channel Bookdraw. Today I am looking at Sarah, which is by um, J T LeRoy, and this was a really cool book. It's a fictional memoir, as it were, of um, JT's experiences growing up as a 12-year-old boy, being dragged around by his mum, who was a lot lizard prostitute working on the prostitute ring, um, uh, and JT basically had this personality called Cherry Vanilla because he managed to get away with looking like a girl. Sarah said that this was her younger sister. So this scene which I'm looking at is all about a moment where she is being dressed up as this kind of glorified, saintly, virginal figure, and it's all kind of Dickensian, the whole story. It's kind of messed up, really, in a lot of ways. But she is about to cross a river to demonstrate she can walk on water, and they're achieving that by using something called, I think it's pronounced Sagnum moss, but it gives her the ability to look like she's levitating on water, and the crowd are going crazy for it. So, but this is at her kind of peak and her height, and she has this second sight, and people come and see her instead of um, actually using her as a prostitute. She has this ability to the psychic ability instead, and they're basically selling that. But once it's revealed that Cherry Vanilla has been dressing up as a girl and isn't a girl, it all kind of goes wrong, and so her fan base turn against her, and she ends up getting chased off with the kind of fire and brimstone, and it all goes a bit wrong, basically. I was really struggling with the composition of this piece because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to include in it for this one, and there was lots of different themes, and ended up choosing not to include lots of stuff. But I also want to shout out to Gwendolyn Gallery over in Liverpool because I did a brief week-long research residency with Gwendolyn Gallery, and it meant that I had access to the Liverpool University Library's resources, and they have this incredible archive of all these magazines. And there was like another magazine, Vogue, uh, children's Vogues, all sorts. And on my Instagram, there are some images of stuff that which I took and collected, which you can see. I'm going to do a full video about this um, later, talking about that experience, and there will be things coming up. But just so you can see that Cherry Vanilla, it has direct references which I've used as a result of that residency. So just to show that it's basically been really useful and helpful for me, and I've just got a load of resources which I'm going to be using in future. Um, but so in this image, I just wanted to talk a bit about Cherry Vanilla, and that it's because she's kind of experiencing a fall from grace in this story, which is really interesting in terms of how that reflected back to what actually happened with J T LeRoy, in terms of everybody did at the start idolize her as a person, her as a character, and through discovering how it was fictional, she becomes like a leper, or he becomes they become something which society can't deal with, and that's kind of impacted on her career. So it is interesting how it became a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, and there's lots of parallels in that. So I wanted to illustrate this kind of divide and how people can be seen and embraced, but also how they can be villainized as well, and draw between those two parallels. So trying to fit that all in conceptually as a piece was a bit of a challenge, and that's why you can see I am throwing around lots of different elements in the image, and I hope it works to a degree. I feel like this one was less successful than some of my other images in terms of its composition. I have actually like not included quite a lot as well. I mean, it looks probably quite packed out right now, but because there was a lot of kind of other religious iconography which I could have included within the storyline. Because I mean, Sarah's a religious figure, and also the writer Jeremiah Terminator is another religious figure, which is something which is present in this book, and also um, the heart is deceitful above all things. And it's interesting in the parking lot they embrace the jackalope, and um, Cherry Vanilla is trying to achieve gaining this really long raccoon penis as a kind of acknowledgement for uh, basically being the best trade on the parking lot. So it was really difficult to like select and edit out the right things, and make those kind of critical choices. I still feel like that's something that I really need to work on with some of my images. Um, but hopefully there's enough in here for you to be inspired by and make you want to read the actual book itself. Now I'm adding in these little Barbie doll heads, which comes from this other part of the story where Pooh, who is another prostitute, has embraced Cherry Vanilla, but then becomes increasingly enraged and jealous of her and her celebrity. And she's acting out because she thinks that she's basically taking her pimp, Leloup. And so she's like, "Still my man, I'll kill you." And she's running over these Barbie dolls' heads and stuff. And I just really wanted to encapsulate that as a little moment. But Leloup was a really interesting character for me as the pimp, because he actually defends Cherry Vanilla towards the end. So I wanted to reflect that kind of beginning peak and also that decline and descent in this image, where Cherry Vanilla, in all sense, is an innocent. I mean, um, they're only 12 years old for a start, and they're trying to find their way in a very confusing, mixed up world, and her point of reference is really confused, and it's not healthy at all. Basically, everybody in the book is using her on a different level, but also she doesn't seem to be aware of that and wants to participate and be involved in the things that are going on because it's everything that she knew essentially. So there are some really interesting parts to this book, and I hope you've enjoyed my little overview of it. I'm not going to do a full review because I feel like I've covered it quite a lot between the two videos, but I will add a link to the separate video which is actually exploring who J T LeRoy is. You also get to see me in a little bit of drag, so I hope you'll enjoy that too. If you've not seen that video, definitely check it out. Otherwise, I will see you again all real soon. Okay, take care. Bye.